Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Career Development Wing, I welcome you all to this placement preparation session focused on finance and data analytics role. Today, we have four speakers with us who are from the Y21 batch who have excelled in placement process and secured roles in leading firms. Madhu Varshini placed at American Express, Siddhant Singh placed at Nomura, Shruti Goyal placed at Detish Bank, Sharvani Jadhav placed at VMOC. They will be sharing their placement journeys, preparation strategies, and practical insights that will surely help you in all preparing effectively for upcoming placement sessions. Without taking any more time, let us hear from our speakers.
Hello, bachon. This is Siddhant. I have just joined in the Nomura Global Markets team in the front office risk division. So I'll be explaining the fun day of preparing for finance. So let's begin with it. We can have the Q&A at the end after the profile, both the profiles have been finished. I'll share my screen now. Uh, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
Siddhant, go ahead.
Sure. So, first of all, we have the iconic image of Harshad Mehta. This slide was just added to explain what the roles are available in the industry and which roles come to the campus. So, I'll briefly go through them one by one. We have asset wealth management, risk
Siddhant,
management. Huh?
we are not
Sure.
able to see your PPT.
Oh, you're not able to see my screen. Wait a minute. Uh, now can you see my screen? Can you see the PPT now?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Uh, so let's re-begin. The roles which come to our campus primarily are asset wealth management, risk management, sales and trading, a couple of IB roles. Finance is a combination. The roles which primarily come to the campus are a combination of quant and core finance. So for quant, we have firms like Quadai, Quantbox, and these are some of the firms which also come in the internship season and not in the placement season, but it changes each season to season, so it may vary for you. For core finance roles, knowledge of coding is not like extensive knowledge of coding is not required, but it is still asked. But in quant roles, you need to have a grasp on both coding and finance parts of the things. I'll move on with the main parts. I'll for core finance roles, I would say your resume is the primary aspect which will be discussed upon. So having at least like three finance projects or at least finance adjacent projects is like very helpful in your interviews because and even for shortlisting because finance coming from IITs, you don't have a particular finance background other than maybe the economics branches, but even them, they don't really have a extensive finance background. So a good resume with projects, and if in case you have an internship in finance, then it is very helpful to you. Thirdly, coding. I would say a bit of DSA is required. As I'll go through, I'll tell you my interview experience as well. And regarding domain knowledge and probability puzzles, I would say whichever finance role you are targeting, you should have extensive knowledge in the field that particular firm works in. For example, Nomura works more with derivatives. The role which comes to our campus works more with derivatives and less with wealth management. So you should have a good understanding of derivatives. But if you're targeting a firm like White Oak, which is more like an investment banking role, so you need to have projects that have projects near adjacent to investment banking. So what to do for preparation? I would say a basic knowledge of finance and economics is a must. Knowing about the global and Indian markets is a very common topic which is discussed in the interviews. So please read up on those. Probability and puzzles, I would say a good resource for them would be Brainstiller and 50CP. If you cover those two, even if the questions aren't directly asked from them, you'll have a good grasp of what is required and a good grasp of the material which is required to solve questions. And generally, probability and puzzles questions are asked in interviews as it was in mine as well. I would say if you have done the course of HSO or MSO, it is very good. If you haven't, just go through the reading materials. It's not necessary you mention it in your resume whether you have done it or not, but you should have a brief understanding of the coursework, because that is generally helpful in later on in the interviews. As I mentioned earlier, internships are a good plus to have on your resume because they help in shortlisting. Internships with in a finance or finance adjacent field, both can work as well. GD prep, I think the AMC guys will have a better session for that, I suppose. But make GD group with your friends and have a collective discussion that will help you understand what are your flaws and not. So as you can see, I mentioned like a billion resources on this slide, but I won't say you should study all of them. This is just not an exhaustive list, but a sufficient list to have. I would say studying the Zerodha Varsity, course and the JC Hull book, Options, Futures, and Other Derivatives by JCL. Those two are some of the best resources you can find for an entry into finance. Other than that, I mentioned 50CP, 50 Challenging Problems in Probability. That is a good thing. And if you are targeting a firm like Axela, I mentioned the game link used in the Axela interview, which they use year to year, so you can go through that as well. And if you just want to ignite your interest in finance a bit more, you can just watch some movies like Dumb Money or The Big Short. So my experiences, as mentioned, I'm currently in the Nomura Global Markets role. I had previously done my internship in Axela. I was also offered a PPO there, but I chose to sit for the placements. So Nomura has a resume-based shortlisting round. In my experience, about 50 people were shortlisted for the GD round on the basis of their resume. And after that, around 14 to 15 people were shortlisted for the interviews. GD is based on some current financial affairs. And along with the GD, after the GD, we have a short 10-minute probability and puzzles pen paper round, which is generally eliminative in the procedure. So do practice your probability and puzzle questions if you get shortlisted for Nomura. Now comes the interview round. So my interview was a mix of all the three topics of DSA, puzzles, and finance. So my first round was was a brief round of DSA. I was asked two questions. It was around easy to medium lead code, you can say, and then my second round was heavily based on my resume, my projects, and my intern. So that would be as I mentioned, do prepare your resume very well because they go a lot into depth. My third round was more focused on around derivatives, particularly the derivatives I worked in my internships and some probability questions as well. As well as a general template as well, in which they do a resume shortlisting. Then they have a general aptitudes and basic maths round, which is just like basic maths, like how fast can you calculate. And then you have a trading game round, which I had shared the link previously in the PPT. So you can go through that. It is not that tough to understand. And then third round, which is the interview round, is basically macroeconomics, derivatives, and basic maths. And current business news is always required in almost all finance roles. HR round is nothing major, so it's just the simplistic prep which you'll do for all roles. Some tips for DSA. As you might be primarily targeting for finance roles, you might not get that much time for DSA. So I will say one thing that there are a billion resources for data structures and algorithms. So pick one and pick one which you think you can complete in the time you have. So I did the Striver A to Z sheet. Not necessarily you pick that. You can pick the SD sheet, or you can pick Interview Bit, or you can pick anything else. But just try to cover most of the topics and most of the important topics specifically. Give contests if you can, but not necessary, I would say. So feel free to ask questions if you have any after the analyst session as well. Thank you.
Hi Rudra, can I start next?
Yes, yes.
Just a second. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Sure. Just a second. So yeah, hi everyone. First of all, thanks Rudra and the team for giving the opportunity today. So, just a second. I'll share. Yeah. So I'll start with my intro. I'm Shruti. I'm 2025 grad and did my BTech in civil engineering. So I'm placed at Deutsche Bank and one second. So this is the overview of my PPT. So as Siddhant already covered various of profiles, so these are some of the common profiles that come to a campus and provide this like investment banking, equity research are some of the very common profiles. So you should prepare according to that. So the key skills, matlab, they don't demand much, but thoda basic to you should know about in finance. First is the financial modeling. So financial modeling is a kind of covering a basic knowledge of ML. Matlab, you should know what are the decision trees and all that. Next comes with the data analysis part. So whatever the data, whatever any kind of data or any finance data you have been given, तो तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए that how you will proceed further. तुम्हारा outcome क्या होना चाहिए with that data. Next is very common problem solving and the communication skills. So you should be a good communicator to tell कि तुम्हारा problem solving approach क्या है. And the next is the probability, permutation and combinations that basically तुम्हारे जो course works हैं तो HSO and all that तो you should know like कि उसमें क्या covered है. You should know the basic probability to solve each and every question that are asked in the interviews. Next is basic stats. Definitely you should know, and the mental math speed tricks that will help you to solve your aptitude round. Next comes with the projects. So like if you're targeting to build a finance resume, so you should know कि किस टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट्स हमारे फाइनेंस रेज्यूमेस में होने चाहिए. So I did my internship in an investment firm, so that was my plus point in that. So like for the financial, so मेरे intern में it was covered a financial modeling part. कि उस intern में I majorly built the financial models using the ML to test in the current market. Otherwise, there are very, lots of self projects also in which you can build them and put in your resume. The very basic common project is the stock price forecasting model. नेक्स्ट इज दी MBA कोर्स वर्क. मतलब ये काफ़ी अच्छी चीज़ है टू पुट इन फाइनेंस रेज्यूमे बिकॉज इसमें बहुत सारी बिजनेस एनालिटिक्स टर्म्स तुम लोग कवर कर सकते हो. नेक्स्ट यू शुड नो द बेसिक सीक्वल. बेसिकली इट्स लाइक थोड़ा सा डेटा एनालिस्ट टाइप ही है, बट इफ अगर तुम्हें कोई फाइनेंस का कोई भी डेटा सेट दे देते यू शुड नो कि तुम उससे क्या रिजल्ट निकाल सकते हो. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द टूल्स दैट यू शुड नो बेसिकली. नेक्स्ट इज द पोर्टफोलियो ऑप्टिमाइजेशन प्रोजेक्ट्स. There are a lot of finance theory. Matlab, finance is a very vast, a very diverse area. So, like, I put a various of finance theory in my resume. One of them was the portfolio optimization project, which use modern portfolio theory. So you can search or you can Google it, and you should find one financial theory that suits you, that you find interesting, and build a project on that, or do any self project, and you can put that, because say you would know okay, like what kind of theories or what kind of things that exist in finance. Next is the prep part. So first very basic thing that you should know about the current market trends. If you don't know anything what is the going in the market, then there is no point. So I'll followed some apps like Economic Times and Money Control, which was really helpful to update me with the various market trends going around. Next is the very basic common, which Siddhant already covered, that key company specific you should apply. Matlab tumhe, you should know that what the JD the company is asking, and you should know about the firm, because then you will be very aware about the current market scenario of that company. Also interview ke liye काफी plus point होगा. Next is the case studies, guesstimates, and GDs. The best thing is to solve guesstimates every day till your interview. Tabhi you will get a very good approach to know how you will going to solve the guesstimates, because it's not always necessary to reach the result. It's always the approach that takes you forward. So you should know okay, how to approach any guesstimates, how to approach any case study or GD, which is very important, because you should know how to speak up in any peer group which is given to you or in which you are sitting, because there's a lot of time you get nervous and all that. So you should start preparing for the GDs from now also, from now. And next is the apti puzzles and probability. Next is the prior exposures, like in finance. I would say it's good to have a prior exposure in finance, because it really helps, or it's really enhance your resume, enhance your finance resume actually. So it's very good to have it an intern in that. If you don't have any internship in finance, then you should build your project such a way that it should satisfy that ki, haan, your resume should look like ye finance ka resume hai. That then next is the HR round preparation, the behavioral questions. There are a lot of material you can cover. There are a lot of SPO materials also, in which they just listed down the very common HR questions. So you should know, and you should prep your resume very well. And then some of the relevant courses that will help you to enhance your resume. The next is my experience with Deutsche. So Deutsche has 3 rounds during its placement time. First was the online coding round. So it was like a DSA was asked, as far as I remember. So the trees were asked and all that. So trees and graphs were covered in the online coding test. Next was the interview shortlist, where first round was of the technical interview round, in which they asked about finance also, DSA also, and various case studies, and I think OOPS concepts also. So these were the covered. Deutsche not completely proper came for the finance. It was a mix of finance plus ST role. So yeah, you should know the basic DSA, because this will take you this will help you a lot to go ahead. Next is The third was the HR interview round. So it was like a behavioral questions. Why should I join Deutsche? What are my 5-year plans? And these are sort of the basic question. There are a basic list of questions that has already been uploaded on the SPO site. You can go there and you would prepare for them, and your HR interview round would be sorted. Next, these were some of the resources which I dedicatedly follow during my placement time. So I'll suggest you guys to stuck on the resources which you are following right now and prepare well for that. And you should know the basic of everything. Finance not only come with the knowing of the finance knowledge, it comes with the knowing the basic DSA, the basic ML, the basic the aptitude. You should know SQL. You should solve 50 challenges of 50 CPS already Siddhant covered. And you should follow the current market trends going around to know more about the business terms and all the things. So yeah, this was from my side. I think I covered. Yeah. Next. Thank you.
So I'll go next. My name am I visible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So hi guys, my name is Sharwani and I recently graduated from Maths and Computing. And I'm currently working as a data scientist in VMO. And yeah. So I'll talk about the data science profile. The data science profile is very similar to data analytics profile, but it has more of computer science and development also, not just data analytics. So I think this is one of the first sessions of placement preparation. So I will just like to go through the placement timeline, because these 5 months will go through like in a snap, and you won't even know that how they're gone. So it is very crucial that you make the most of your everyday and you do as much as you can. So right now we are in August, we're at 16th August. Now it is the time that you prepare. You can start solving DSA if you haven't already. It's a very high time that you start solving it, solve arrays, queues, stacks, heaps. It's great if you can reach graph and DP till in August only, and you can finish it till then. But if not, you have to do it in September anyhow. So start solving DSA if you haven't already. It's high time, and DSA is required in most of the profiles, not just data science. You'll need it in data analytics. You'll need it in finance. You'll need it for software. You'll need it for quant. You'll need it for most of the profiles. So having a good mastery over DSA will serve you as a plus anywhere. Next, if you're targeting a data science profile, then you should know very good ML, and you should also know PropStats really well. So you can go through the CS771 slides, etc., and run whatever remaining ML or stats that you have left. Or if you don't know anything yet, this is a good time to start. You can make ML projects and you can write them on your resume if you don't have any projects already. You can see whatever latest trends are going on in the market, and you can make projects of, let's say, NLP or clustering, and you can add them to your resume. And now is a very good time to make your resume, because you'll have to submit it in September. In September, you'll get the deadline from SPO to submit your resume. And the resume you can't make overnight or in a week. You'll go through many iterations. So you should start making the resume in August itself. In September, get your resume reviewed from as many seniors as you can, and you submit it. And in September, it's like high time कि अभी DSA करने का time हो गया. इसके बाद अक्टूबर और नवंबर पूरा टेस्ट में जाएगा, and you will hardly get any time to learn any more skills to practice or even develop your DSA more. So September is like sort of the last month of preparation. October, November will go in a flash. So September तक you go through whatever remaining topics. Most of the companies ask question on graph, DP, and greedy algorithm. So you should finish it by September. Also, if you have written any keywords or skills in the resume that you don't know yet, I would highly suggest you that you start learning about them and brush up them end to end. And September is also a very good time to start with puzzles. You can start with Brainstarter. You can start with Puzzle Quant. I'll share the resources later. So if you start them in September, you will most probably retain them in October, November, and December. If you start too early, you'll maybe forget. And also in September, you should revise your prop stats. And also for my profile specifically, a lot of companies ask questions from Python and not just C++. So there are companies like Stripe and VMOC also, which just ask questions from Python, and like Python is preferred. So you should know at least the basic syntax, how to run a for loop, how to run a while loop, how to implement basic stacks, heaps in Python as well. So if you have forgotten the Python syntax, please revise it because you'll need it. Even companies like Grow and all had asked to implement basic algorithms in Python. So you should remember all the Python syntax. In October, November, these 2 months will go in a flash of an eye. You won't realize कब test शुरू हुआ है, कब खत्म हुआ है. So just focus on one test at a time. Try to get questions from the other colleges, because let's say if company XYZ is taking a test in IIT Kanpur, company XYZ will also most likely take tests in other IITs like Bombay, Delhi, Kharagpur, and there are chances that the questions are repeated. So try to get the questions from there also, so that you have some idea of what are the paper patterns. You can also ask the seniors who had given the test last year, because the tests are more or less similar. So if you are targeting certain companies, तो उनका तुम थोड़ा ज़्यादा प्रिपरेशन करो, उसमें ज़्यादा फोकस करो, क्वेश्चंस पहले से पता करने की कोशिश करो कि किस टाइप के आता है, so you can prepare accordingly. And also get thorough with everything in your resume. And this is the time when you should solve at least some puzzles every day. Like एक दो daily करते रहना. And December तो day 1, day 2, day 3 में हो जाता है. The interviews start that time. So resume preparation tips. I'm sure SPO will take a lot of sessions for resume preparation, but I'll just cover what's specific for data science profile. So in data science, you have to prioritize the ML projects, because a lot of what we do is machine learning and machine learning development. So focus on ML projects. Anything you have done in your courses, in clubs, in UGPs, or even you can do some Kaggle competition and you can make a model there and you can add it to your resume. That also you can do. So focus on ML projects rather than finance or quant or some software वगैरह. I would recommend you to make like 4 to 5 resumes for different profiles. One you should make for software, one you can make for like ML and data analytics, one for finance, one for product and consult, or whatever your priorities are. But tailor your resume, make multiple resumes for specific profiles. Don't have one resume for all the profiles. It's not instead of writing a lot of things, you can try to improve the quality over quantity. Then your resume should be very easy to read. The recruiter will just spend 30 seconds or 40 seconds on a resume. So whatever keywords you want to highlight, whatever things you want to showcase, keep them at the top. highlight them, do whatever, but make it the resume really easy to read and get your resume reviewed from seniors. And be honest, yeah. Don't brag about many technologies. Don't add very hi-fi things to your resume that you won't be able to learn till the interview, because it's really easy to catch that this is a really advanced topic and the person at a fresher level might not know this topic. So it's really easy to catch. And if you lie on your CV, it's a very big red flag. You'd rather know less topics and present less topics than write topics that you don't know. So I'll talk about OA questions. So in data science, the type of questions that come in the test are mostly machine learning based. They ask you questions on theory, evaluation metrics, optimizers, and mostly the questions are like use case based. So like companies like Stripe will give you some question or some problem that they face in the everyday life of the company, and then they will give you a small problem for that and you have to code. So it will be like a case study, and then you'll have to think of a good algorithm which algorithm can be used. And 90% of the companies will also ask you DSA. So DSA is asked. And Python is mandatory in some companies. It's optional. You can go for C++ also in some. But having a hands-on knowledge of Python is preferred. They'll ask you a lot of problem stats questions, and also permutation, combination, number theory, puzzles. So these are the kind of questions that are generally asked. You can expect MCQs or fill in the blanks type of questions. And SQL questions are also asked in some companies. So SQL you can brush up from LeetCode. SQL is like this very small topic which gives you really big rewards. It's asked everywhere. So if you know even basic SQL, you can learn it in a day or two. And you can practice SQL questions in like 3 to 5 days, and you'll have a good basic working of what companies ask, and you'll be able to solve those questions. I have some tips regarding interviews. So it is really important to start early, because if you think that I'll start later preparing for interviews, if I'll start in October, November, trust me, October and November में time नहीं मिलेगा. So abhi is the time, August, September is the time when you actually get time to prepare for the interviews, for anything that's ahead. So interview preparation also I would recommend you to start doing in August, September only. So first learn all the things that you have written in your resume, all the keywords or all the technologies that you have run. You should know them through and through. Especially for machine learning, you should know the math behind it, because a lot of companies go into the math behind ML also. Prepare for DSA. And this is a really, really nice trick that you can do. You can make a list of all the mistakes that you did while solving those DSA questions. And you also make a list of all the tricky questions. So when you have to revise it later in October or November, instead of solving the whole question again, you can just refer to that mistake or that trick which helped you solve that question. So it's easy for you to revise. Some companies ask like basic prop stats, like really basic. How is the P, what is the P value? How is the Z value, T test, P test, F test, all that. So you should know probability. Then companies also ask puzzles. So instead of like cramming the puzzles in a single day, I would recommend you to do two, three puzzles every day, so that you develop a practice of doing those, and you can even face new problems on the go. If you have time, then you can go for advanced ML topics, and you can also learn CS concepts like DBMS, scopes, and operating systems. And one trick that really helped me was to have answers to HR questions ready. Like, these are the questions that you'll expect any day. in every single interview. The people will ask you, introduce yourself, or what are your strengths? Why should we choose you? Why do you want to join this company specifically? So prepare a couple of answers beforehand so you can मतलब भाई तुम हर जगह जाके बोल सकते हो कि why should you choose me? Then you should have some 3-4 points ready that you will say. And do mock interviews with seniors. It's really helpful because you won't stammer, you won't buffer in the interview. So if you have done a lot of mock interviews before, it will give you confidence while when you go for the actual interview. Some useful resources and links. So what are absolutely must do if you want to go for a data science? Definitely go through CS771 slides of Piyush Rai sir, or even Purushottam sir, you can go, but I prefer Piyush sir's notes more because he very nicely explains the math behind ML, which is very useful. For DSA, you can choose any sheet that you like, that you have an inclination to, whichever low you find easier, or whoever you find better. There is Blind 75, there's Love Bubble, there's Striver. So जिसका भी तुम्हें अच्छा लग रहा है explanation quality, कुछ लोग को Striver अच्छा लगता है, कुछ लोग को Love Bubble का explanation style अच्छा लगता है. So whatever style you prefer, go with that sheet and solve at least 100-150 questions of DSA. So, and for puzzles, you can refer to this site as Puzzle Spawn. It's like it has a combination of questions from Brainstormer, Geeks for Geeks of TCP. So it's like a website which combines all of them and gives you a lead code kind of UI, which is really fun. It also has question of the day, which you can solve. So this website Puzzle Pond is really nice. You can check it out. For prop stats, I think basic MSO or HSO slides are enough. And for SQL, there is one list on LeetCode, which you must solve. There are only a few problems. There are some 30-40 problems that you absolutely must solve if you want to master SQL. If you solve these 30-40 problems, you'll be good for any interview. And if you have time, like if you have already done a good amount of DSA and you even know ML, if you have time, these are the resources that you can use. There's this CSES sheet that you can use for DSA. It has a lot of good problems and advanced algorithms that will help you solve like lead code hard problems and also help you boost your Codeforces ratings. So this CSES sheet is really good, but I would suggest you to target it only once you have done a basic. If you can solve lead code medium problems easily, then you can go for the CSES sheet. For machine learning, you can improve your Kaggle profile. You can attempt competitions, and also whatever basic algorithms are there, like KNN, logistic regression, using APIs. I would recommend you to implement all this in your VS Code on your own, so that many companies, when they ask this in the interview, you'll not stammer, you'll be able to answer it well. So implement it, matlab A to Z in your VS Code. That's the only way you'll learn. You don't just read through the tutorials, read through the YouTube slides. That will not help. But if you actually implement everything, it will be very useful. So just knowing the logic behind them and the math behind it won't help. You should also be able to implement them. And you can also, if you have time, learn about advanced ML topics like natural language processing or Gen AI or advanced computer vision, etc. Whatever is more focused in your resume. So I'll share a little bit about my interview experience. So Stripe generally asks DSA only, and they ask a lot of questions based on their use case. And in Stripe, they prefer Python if you're using Python, because they ask a lot of questions, which will be very easily solved using a lot of Python libraries like NumPy, Pandas. You'll be able to solve Stripe's questions really easily and very much faster than what you could do in C++, because Python has a lot of libraries which make it really easy to solve, and you can write the same code in very small number of lines. In FinMech, I remember we had a pen paper OA on puzzles and prop sets. Then they had a DSA and resume based rounds. In Nomura, they had a JD round first, which had group discussion, and then followed by a puzzles round. And then the second round was also just puzzles. In RISA Labs, also, they asked a lot of ML questions. RISA Labs, so they asked only ML questions. Given a particular use case, given this situation, what algorithm would you use? How would you approach this problem? These are the kind of questions that RISA Labs used. And so my experience in VMOC was there was first a coding round, after which they asked me two DSA questions in the second round. Then there was a machine learning round in which they asked a lot of questions on what is a correlation matrix, what is KNN algorithm, how would you optimize the hyperparameters, etc. So lot of ML rounds, like this ML round went on for an hour, and they really dug into whatever was written in my resume, whatever keywords I had used. They grilled me behind the maths of it. And then the last round was a development round where I had to implement a chatbot end to end, which would talk to you, like you would talk, say something to the chatbot. It would use OpenAI API and it would speak something back to you. So yeah, even for the other profile also, for the software profile also, VMOC asked a development question. They had to they've given a resume, they had to paraphrase the resume and they had to look for mistakes in it. So they had to implement an end-to-end pipeline using Grammarly APIs and etc. to first pass the resume and then send it to Grammarly and then check it. So yeah, a lot of companies do that. They ask you not just theory, not just standard questions about what are APIs, what is this, what is that. They also ask you to actually implement it. So that's why, like I said, it is really important for you to know how to implement stuff also, and how to solve the development errors that come in, like how to make a virtual environment. What if there's a version mismatch? We should know how to be able to solve these things. How to do a git pull, how to do a git push, how to use an API in your code. So a lot of companies, even I have heard Grow also had a development round. So yeah, thank you. I'll pass on to Madhu. She will talk next.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So, hi everyone, I'm Madhu Ashni. I currently work at American Express as a data analyst. So, most of the topics were almost covered by these three people. So, I'll just wrap up things so quickly. So, to begin with, all the technical skills. So, these are some of the technical skills you'll be required for the data analytic role. So, first, try to focus on building a strong foundation and the core skills needed for data analysis. This means learning how to clean the data, visualize it using Power BI and Matplotlib, and learn how to interpret it as well. So, get comfortable with the basic analytical tools like various Python libraries that you'll be using, like NumPy, Pandas, Scikit, and Matplotlib and all. So next is SQL. Having strong SQL skill is a big plus. It is like much more easier than Python. So for interview perspective, they'll expect you to know different clauses SQL has, difference between a where and have clause, and how to join two different tables, and what are stored procedures, window functions, CTE. And knowing this much is more than enough for from SQL point of view. And then some companies even include SQL coding questions in their aptitude test. So be prepared for that as well. Next is the probability stats. So everyone has mentioned, like you should be able to know what hypothesis testing is, different type of statistical tests that exist, and what all assumptions do these tests assume about the data, p-value, type 1 and type 2 error. These are something you should be having a basic idea of. And this will also, sometimes they'll ask these questions in aptitude test as well. And also you'll also need a basic understanding of machine learning concepts, like different types of gradient descent, regression models, and classification models. And some might even expect you to know about hyperparameter tuning, like the different methods you use to tune a hyperparameter. And last is the DSA. Even though I didn't prepare DSA myself, I would still recommend you guys to have a like medium fluency on this. DSA, I hated DSA, like I had very little knowledge on it. And but because of this, I really did miss a lot of opportunities. Even though the companies come to recruit data analysts, they ask like 40 to 50, 60% of the companies ask for DSA in the aptitude test. So make sure you have a basic fluency in that as well. And the next is big data. This is like very few, one or two companies ask. So don't spend much time on it. Know what is S3 bucket, and this is like a component of AWS. Know what it is, like how they store data in it, and how do you run a Python notebook in AWS. This much is much like more than enough for big data point of view. And going on, communication, soft skills. These are just as important as your technical skills. By good communication skills, I don't mean using complicated words or fancy English. It's about being fluent enough to express your thoughts clearly and like articulate your ideas so that the interviewer understands exactly what you're trying to say. And problem solving skills, this is about how you approach challenges. For this purpose, interviewers will ask you guesstimates and puzzles. It's not just about finding the final answer. It's about how you break down the problem and solve it. So when you're encountering any problem, guesstimates or puzzles, don't just jump to the final answers. Walk them through your thought process, communicate with them like how are you thinking to proceed, and ask them if you're in the right path or not. Explain them everything. And then moving on, these are some resume preparation tips. Most of these were covered. I'll just highlight one or two. So while putting your like listing out your work experience and projects, make sure that you prioritize it. Like put the relevant one or unique one on the top, followed by the others, so that it looks good. And unlike consulting profile, POR and like extracurricular do not matter that much. So you don't have to explain a lot. Having 2 or 3 point under your PRS is like more than enough. And the final thing is have a consistent formatting, like the format of your text and also the alignment as well. And get feedback from your seniors before finalizing. Like approach as many seniors as possible. Each will give you different perspectives, so that you can choose a best that suits you. And so these are like aptitude, what will be asked in aptitude test. So the aptitude questions will be very simple, but the real challenge is the time constraint. You should be able to solve one question within a minute. Like you'll be asked to solve 60 questions on average within 60 minutes. So that's where it gets tricky. So spend at least 10 to 15 minutes daily for practicing these questions. Have a timer with you. You can also solve it with your friends and all. SQL questions, I said it will be very easy to medium level. Solving this 50 problems in LeetCode would be more than suffice. And DSA, you can go through Strivers. Okay. And coming to my interview experience, the first step obviously was resume shortlisting. This was based on CPI, and if I remember correctly, the minimum cutoff was around 6, I guess, and 6 or 7. And after that, we had an aptitude test. There was like 70 questions, and the time given was around 60 minutes. All of them were aptitude based, and they were easy. And there were some probability questions as well. And post that, I had 2 rounds of interviews. In the first round, I was asked 3 puzzles. Each of them was straightly asked from GFG only. And then I got a guesstimate. The question was to estimate the number of people that would leave a Lucknow airport within a 2-hour time span. So they also asked some technical questions based on Python, like data structure in Python, which is immutable and all. And I was also asked 2 SQL questions. One was about to write a pseudocode on inner joins and window functions. The other is to explain what are stored procedures. And then few company-based questions like what is the difference between Mastercard and Amex cards and all. And then I had second round. In second round also they started with resume. So I had used some NLP model during my previous internship. So the interviewer gave me a scenario and asked how would you implement the same model with slight alterations for this scenario. So that's how they asked you questions. And there were some probability questions, again puzzle, and some HR questions and all. And then there was other question as well, like if you have a data of 1 crore people who is logging into Amazon and you wanted to advertise to them, so you can advertise only to 50,000 because you can't afford for 1 crore people. So what all features you will be choosing to do that? So in both of the rounds, the interviewer was so chill, so cool, and they were so supportive as well. And then coming to the resources, these are some resources, mostly the same one. And this is the one different thing. Puzzles and guesstimate. This is IIM's Ahmedabad Consulting prep book. This is much more than enough for guesstimate and case studies. Give it a try. And then some few common tips is like first start your preparation as early as possible. By the time November hits, you'll be swamped with quizzes, exams, placement tests, and you won't have time to learn anything. So don't plan anything for November. You'll just revise. That's the only thing you could do, and have some do attend mock interviews with your seniors. That will help in boosting your confidence, and also even if you make any mistakes, you'll have enough time to rectify it. And then be consistent and have a routine. Like if you are starting now, you can still make it. Like you have plenty of time with you, so just have a schedule and stick to it. And another key point is that make your interview a two-way discussion. This is very much important. So we have every right to ask questions, to disagree, but in a respectful way. So you may ask them about their experience, why they chose this, and you can even disagree with their opinions as well. So, and then finally, your attitude matters a lot. Put a smile on your face from the starting to ending. Who doesn't panic for interviews, right? Even if you're panicking inside, don't let it show out. So it is very normal to panic, to make mistake, and to not know things in interviews. So all you can do is to uh, try to stay calm and you know let the remain happen. And that's all. And most importantly, don't lose your hope. This is an unpredictable process. You don't know what the end has. So I mean, you'll all will get the results you deserve it. So hold on to the process. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Any question? So if no one has any question, we can So thank you for taking out the time to conduct today's session. Your insights on finance and data analytics preparation was extremely helpful for the Y22 batch, and this will surely benefit them in their placement journey. Thank you for the time and effort you all put in to guide them.
Yeah, thanks all.
Thanks, Ruth. Good luck with you.